Hello, boys and girls. We are on day 13 of our water study. And today's question of the day is what happens to water when it gets very cold? Now, we talked about ice in our previous video. And we discussed how you put it in the ice tray, put water in the ice tray as a liquid, and then when you put it in the freezer, it hardens and turns to a solid. So the water molecules slow down and they freeze. So that's what happens when it gets very cold. So today we have a couple of words. Freezer, congelador, is the place that you put the liquid into the freezer if you want it to turn to ice. Now, what happens when you take those ice cubes out of the freezer? So you have a solid, and the warm air, the room temperature of the air is room temperature, and it's warmer than the ice. So it begins to break down that ice cube and begins to melt or derreter. So it begins to turn back into a liquid. So water is very changeable. So we can go from a liquid to a solid like ice cube to a gas that we talked about when it evaporates and goes into tiny little droplets and it goes back into the sky, and then it just the air absorbs it. So how can we melt our ice cubes? So that's part of the question. So if you think about an ice cube, yesterday, if you got to hold it, you probably noticed that it started to melt in your hand. And that's because your body temperature is warmer than the ice cube. So you could just melt an ice cube just by holding it because the temperature of your hand is warm, and so it's going to melt that. So can you think of other ways that you might melt an ice cube? If you can think of some ways to melt that ice cube, go ahead and put them in the comments below and let me know your ideas on how to melt an ice cube. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Hit the bell, the all bell notification if you would like to get notified when we post new videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.